Welcome back. Welcome back to Sunrise. So we're on the couch this morning with Dr. Carla Hylton, a distinguished educator, accomplished author, and passionate advocate for mental health awareness. Now, throughout her career in academia, her writing and her advocacy work, she has made significant contributions to education, mental health, mental awareness, and self-empowerment. Now, her story is underscored by the transformative power of education and resilience in the unwavering pursuit of passion. Welcome to Sunrise, Dr. Hylton. Nice to have you.
I'm very happy to be here.
Good morning. It's great to have you. Shall we start where we typically would start? Let's start at the very beginning. How did you even end up in academia? How did you even end up wanting to become an educator and one that's so passionate about education?
Well, it didn't happen overnight. Originally, as a child growing up, I wanted to become a medical doctor. My parents instilled in me from a very early age the value of education. So I never at any point during my childhood thought that I would actually be an educator. It was all about being a medical doctor. But as I went into university, you know, events occurred, and I would say, you know, it was serendipity. And I ended up at the newly built Biotechnology Center, and I did my PhD there. And I did a short stint in research, and then I went on to lecture at the university. And I found that I really enjoyed it. And again, one thing led to another, and I started my own tutoring company, Yes Institute, where I tutor teenagers in biology, physics, and chemistry. It's something I'm very passionate about. I really enjoy doing it.
And it's very necessary.
No, trust me. I always say the good biochemistry and physics teachers, the students will find you. The students whisper and they talk, and then they find you. So it's important that you provide that kind of service, because I think especially, you know, some of the times with our girls, we don't direct them in the area of STEM, but you know, I'm glad as a woman in STEM that you are, you know, doing the education side of it. Tell me about some of the passions. I mean, because you're a writer, and as an academic, you probably write academically, but I mean, tell me about some of the non-academic passions that you have where writing is concerned.
Okay, so I actually do not write a lot of academic articles.
Precisely.
I actually do write a column in the newspaper on education, because education is now my passion, and I have evolved into authorship, so to speak. Recently, I wrote a memoir called The Unvarnished Truth, Purpose in the Pain. And just 2 weeks ago, I released the companion workbook to go along with it. And
a workbook?
Yes, I'll explain.
Yes, that's interesting.
So the workbook is called Vanquishing Monsters, and it actually came about because of the overwhelming response to The Unvarnished Truth. I was getting calls from strangers asking me for more guidance for some of the themes that were mentioned in the book.
I want to hone in on the subtitle of the book, Purpose in the Pain. And if it is okay, if you could take us to why that came out as a subtitle in the book.
And what does it have to do with perhaps your passion about mental health?
Okay. Well, you know, I'm passionate about removing that stigma about mental health wellness. We should all be able to speak about it regardless of our educational status, our social status. You know, we all go through issues, and I have been through quite a lot, which I go through in the book. I have actually attempted suicide twice and survived when I should not have survived. And that tells me that I'm here to do something important. And just the response from the book, you know, with persons calling, and I've actually had a phone call from a total stranger. She was on the phone for 45 minutes, and she was crying and sharing, and so happy to hear that somebody else has had these experiences and are willing to speak about it.
Because you know what it is, Doc? You know what it is? They often see people who appear to have it all together. and have it all. So professionally, they're well accomplished. Personally, it appears as though they are happy. And then it's almost like it doesn't add up when you say, but this person cannot be unhappy. They appear so happy. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that depression doesn't have a face.
No, it
and
doesn't.
you can't tell by the outside and what the internal experience is for that person.
It's different for everybody. And while I'm not a mental health professional per se, I have been through mental health issues throughout my life. You know, from early childhood, I've had these feelings of emptiness, etc., which I walk through in the book. And I've had many traumatic experiences, more than most, that, you know, add to the feeling that what is life, why am I here, okay? And in recent years, so my most recent suicide attempt was actually in 2020, you know, and I was in ICU, and being a scientist, I really thought I had done all the research and everything should work, but God spared my life, so it has definitely changed my path where I realized that, you know, I am important, you know, and I want other persons to also believe that there is hope. You know, everybody, we have that dark time in our life, right? And we just have to know how to get out of it and find a purpose. It might not be what you want to do, you know, but God might have a different plan for you, and you just have to walk that path.
I want to talk a little bit about the workbook, because then it now operationalizes some of the abstract things that you're contemplating in the previous work. So tell us a little bit about what the workbook is trying to accomplish.
Okay, so the workbook is trying to help persons come out of that dark abyss. So there are 12 chapters, and it goes through all the themes that are in the Unvarnished truth, such as abuse. And that's a very important topic, because persons believe that abuse only means physical abuse.
That's right.
Right? But there are other forms of abuse. It goes through narcissism. It goes through parenthood, right? It goes through grief. The loss of my dad had a profound impact on my life. I go through that. The last chapter in particular talks about spirituality. So what the workbook does is that you have worksheets that you can put down your thoughts and feelings. You also have questionnaires, for example, could you possibly be married to a narcissist or in a relationship with a narcissist? You answer these quizzes, and you know, you have an idea what the red flags are to look for. It goes through even financial empowerment, something that I lacked when I was in my marriage. I handed over my power to my ex-husband at the time, and I did not have any idea about finances. I was a scientist, so I wasn't really concerned with that. So, you know, right? So, you know, it's something I want to advocate, that women, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're a scientist, whether you're an accountant, you have to know about finances and look after your own self.
Where do people get a hold of the book? Because I'm very certain there are many people watching right now, men and women, even maybe some teenagers who are saying, this feels like what I'm feeling, but I can't put it into words. Where can they access the book?
Okay, they can visit my website, which is www.khylton.com, and there are links directing them to Barnes & Noble or Amazon. They can also get in touch with me, and I can get them the books.
All right. Thank you for repurposing your pain.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you so much,
I'm
Andy.
really glad you're here.
Thank you very much.
That was Dr. Carla Hylton, educator, author, scientist, speaker, journalist, philanthropist, and so much more. She really blessed us this morning.
Indeed,
Thank you.
indeed.
Really good stuff. On the other side of the break, Dennis goes around the sewing machine. In styling it, you better learn to serve.